we landed on a new head coach in Ryan Silverfield. What was your first thoughts?
I thought I was still sleeping, having a nightmare.
Oh, no.
It's disappointing that we can't get a candidate that we want. That's nothing against Silverfield. You know, I'm gonna get behind him as a fan, but I'm pretty frustrated with Juracek.
We're hiring somebody who isn't going to meet the status quo for Arkansas, I believe.
When we fired Sam, the first name that came to my mind was, man, Ryan will do a great job here.
Hey man, I need people to tighten up, man.
Oh, okay, tighten up.
You folks is tripping, man. We got a great head coach.
All right, there we have it. It's our first time really digging all the way in to the new head coach of the University of Arkansas, Ryan Silverfield. That's our guy moving forward. We're going to talk all about it. We are live here at Oakline at the Mainline Sports Bar. A little cold outside, a little chilly, a little wet. Be careful if you decide to come out. Thank for the faithfuls who always show up. What do we got on tap today? We got you covered. We are going to talk about the man himself, Ryan Silverfield, obviously, big topic of conversation. Also, Trey Schapp was a big point of discussion throughout the entire country. We're going to hear his response about what happened. We're also going to take a look at the SEC coaching carousel, and we're also going to have a Silverfield breakdown. We're going to let you know what you can expect from the next head hog, and we're going to take a look at what is on the board with Monday Night Football with Zach Gillum over there at Oakline. But once again, a lot has happened, a lot to talk about. We've been into the research, into the film, trying to figure out exactly what we can expect from the next head coach of the University of Arkansas. I'm DJ Williams. Let me go ahead and bring in Josh Throne right now. And once again, Josh, the talks continue to happen. You know, we went on the live stream the other night, and so many people came in. At that point, Josh, I felt a lot of people were just upset, angry. But as time kind of goes on, we're starting to realize maybe it's not so much about Silverfield. You had a great call in today on 103.7 The Buzz in the Zone, and you brought up a really good point about this hire, of people expecting so much of this coach coming here. And you brought up a name I think a lot of Razorback fans thought brought a lot to this university. You want to go ahead and let people know what you thought about when it came to Silverfield as the hire?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when I heard you and Justin kind of talking this morning, it got me, got my wheel spinning. I was like, well, let's just take a look at the past head coaches that have had a lot of success here. And I'm talking about Houston Nutt, who came here right before the whole Bobby Petrino era, because that was kind of the last era of good Arkansas football. But Houston Nutt, before he got the job in the SEC, he started off at Murray State. He's like Murray State Hall of Fame coach, DJ. Like, this guy is like loved there because he had 2 seasons, his back-to-back final seasons at Murray State. I think we're 11-1 and then 11-2. Now, he started off much more rocky than that at Murray State, but finished up strong there. Well, what does that do when you win and dominate like that in Murray State? You get promoted. So he took a job at Boise State. Now, Boise State, he was only there 1 season. I think he went 4-7, and then he got promoted to the SEC, and the Arkansas job came knocking. So I think if you think about it in the context of Houston Nutt, all of a sudden Memphis, Silverfield, and his record starts looking a lot better. And I think what really stood out to me there is what Houston Nutt brought to the table was inspiring the Arkansas fan base, was recruiting the state of Arkansas like crazy. I remember growing up, and there was never any more pride in being an Arkansas Razorback than when Houston Nutt was a coach. And there's a whole other discussion there. And we let the guy go who got us to our last SEC championship game. But I mean, can you imagine being in that seat now? We'd give anything to be in the Houston Nutt era and, you know, all the confidence he brought to us at Arkansas. But can Ryan Silverfield do what Houston Nutt did? Can he inspire the state? Can he recruit the state? Can he bring back that passion to this program? And if you agree that Houston Nutt did it, then you can't say that it's not possible for a Ryan Silverfield to do it.
Obviously, a lot of people are going to mention when you talk about last era of, good football, you're going to bring up the name Coach Petrino as well.
Yeah.
So let's not forget about that. When it comes to era, though, and longevity, we got obviously cut short from what we potentially thought we were going to get from Petrino because of what happened. But here we are, and I thought that was a great point and something to kind of remember. So here we are. We are in it now. So let's go ahead and give a backtrack. There's a few things that popped up that I want to address. We're going to get that response from Trey Schaap. You know, he had a tweet that had over 5 million responses when he dropped that name. And so he came on to Morning Mayhem this morning on The Buzz and talked with David Basil and crew about exactly what happened. And, you know, he posted a tweet, actually, this was yesterday, standing on what he did. And, you know, and he said it wasn't his fault. He said this was the university's fault and that they fumbled the ball yet once again when it came to a coaching search. We'll talk about that here in just a second. But here's the details. Ryan Silverfield, 5 years, $33.5 million, $6.7 million a year. The buyout from Memphis was $1.5 million, which I'm assuming Arkansas went ahead and took care of. All right, so that's the deals. As far as intricacies, what's the buyout look like? What are the incentives? Not sure on those details yet. I'm sure more of those will come. We heard Chris Kane this morning on the Zone on Morning Mayhem was talking about once these deals get done, then it takes about another week or two to finish out all those small little things. But pretty much it's all locked in and ready to go. You can't talk about coaching hires without talking about what's going around the country right now. Obviously, the big news, that guy right there in the middle, 7 years, $91 million. He's getting $13 million a year, okay? Wow. Then you got Alex Golesh, who ended up at Auburn. He's getting $44 million over 6 years, so he's settling in at 7.4 a year. And then you got John Summerall. These were all coaches, except for Kiffin, that a lot of Razorback fans were talking about that would potentially be the next head coach for Arkansas. He is getting $7.5 million over there at Florida. Kiffin's deal, y'all, I know a lot of y'all probably already know this. It's pretty wild. I mean, and then he's also going to be getting money from the incentives that he had in his Ole Miss contract. So he had an incentive in his contract. If Ole Miss made it to the playoffs and got to the first round, he would get $150,000 all the way up to the championship game with $1 million bonus for each round that they get to. LSU was going to cover that for him, and they're going to cover the housing expensing, give him an extra $500,000 on top of that. So a lot of people trying to figure out, why would he leave this team? I mean, they pretty much made it to where he almost couldn't say no. All right. So LSU all in on this guy. We'll see how that kind of pans out. So the big thing is when it came to the names like Golesh and Summerall, and then we all ultimately for the past week all believed it was going to be Golesh, mostly from a tweet that went out from the Buzz's own Trey Schaap. So here's a recap of what happened, why he tweeted what he tweeted, and why he believes he didn't do anything wrong and that this was the university's fault, the reason that they didn't land and sign the deal and get it all done with Alex Golesh. This is going to be about 4 minutes. David Basil, I thought, did a fair job with the questions, and I even think that the producer, Josh Neighbors, actually did a really good job with the questioning as well. Take a listen.
In studio now with us, Trey Schaap. Trey, let's go back. I was thinking it was 5 days ago. This has been a long 5 days.
It has.
So we were at Frank Fletcher's place the day before Thanksgiving. Remember, Roger, we were doing the show. Trey sort of disappeared. And then about 8 o'clock or somewhere in mid-morning, you put out a tweet that said, sources, Coach Golesh has accepted an offer to be the head coach of the Razorbacks. That tweet, I just went back and looked, 5.3 million views. Obviously, he is not the coach of the Razorbacks. Right. So sort of take us back and see how we got from there to here.
I got a text at 7:57 a.m. from a source that said, was told Golesh has an offer sheet from Arkansas.
Okay.
And so I said, you think he takes it? He said he'd be an idiot not to. Okay. That's what he told me.
Okay.
And so then I sent what he had told me to another source. And I said, here's what I'm being told from this source. And he goes, I don't know if that's correct. Well, then he came back at a little later, a couple of hours later, and said, your source is right.
Your source is right about what?
Was told Alex Golesh has an offer sheet from Arkansas. So then I got on the phone instead of texting. And I got on the phone and was talking to him, and I said, has he signed it? He goes, it's my understanding that he is going to sign it. That one, and then I called my other source and said, has he signed it yet? He said yes.
So you had somebody tell you that
I
he
had
signed
two people that had told me he had been signed.
One said the intent was to sign.
The intent was to sign. The other one said he had signed.
Yeah.
Why would somebody want to call you and give you that info? Was it the intent for you? They wanted to get it out, or they just wanted to tell you what? What's the purpose of that?
That's a good question. I mean, I have a relationship with several different people in several different places of the country that I have grown to know when it comes down to coaching searches that I have talked with many times. In this case, he obviously wanted something out there, and I don't know if it was to push the source. I don't know if it was trying to do something to muddy up the field or to put it out there that Arkansas has put pressure on Alex Golesh to get this deal done.
Did you have any hesitation with it being so early in that process? You know, this was Wednesday. I think the day before that, Eric Morris had just agreed to take the Oklahoma State job. Did you have any hesitation to hold on to that or sit on that for a little bit later? What was your motivation to go ahead and get that out?
Well, the reason I put it out is after making the phone calls that got it confirmed. That's when I thought, well, it's confirmed. He's gonna. One says he has intent to sign. The other one said he has signed. That it's my understanding. I mean, I trust my sources that it's done. Obviously, the one that said he had signed it, the one that said he had intent to sign, I really believe. The one that said he had signed it obviously was not true, or he did sign it and basically said that he didn't send it back.
Would you, if you had to do it over again, would you still have retweeted, or would you still have put that tweet out on Wednesday?
Yeah, because I trusted my sources, and I don't think me putting that out cost Arkansas their coach that they wanted. I don't think B, like some people have said, has destroyed the football program. No. I would have done the same thing. I mean, I had legitimate sources that told me the information, and I went with it.
Can we backtrack? Because the issue I have, Trey, is that you didn't verify he'd signed it. Right? That's where I come in. Where
I made a phone call. And they said it was.
But you said you had one person who said he'd signed it, and one person had said
he was
probably
going
going
to.
to.
Yeah.
So what do you think of what you've been getting, the response you've been getting from fans, and what's your reaction to that?
Yeah, Trey, tell us about the response you've been getting from fans.
It's been pretty brutal.
It's been
pretty tough.
Yeah, Basil's like, let's just dig
Well,
deep
it's
into
the reality.
the
It's
It is the reality. I've got thick skin. I've got good support around me. I trust my sources, and I even spoke to some of them yesterday, and they said, you know, they're like, hey, you know, and some that are different sources from a different search or even just different friends that I've talked to, they have said, look, what you did was factual the minute you put it out there. That was the fact.
All right, there you go. Now, the validity of all that stuff. First thing I would say, I don't believe that Alex Golesh is not here because of Trey Schapp. I don't believe that. So I think they're on with that. Now, I do think this, if his source, one, he needs to recheck his sources, and they probably don't know what they think they know. And if they do know what they think they know, him and all the other sources and all these multiple sources we keep hearing about, they got to tighten up. They got to get a little bit more tight-lipped, right? If they're that involved inside that inner circle and they don't want necessarily misinformation to get out and cause up a stir, make it look bad on the university, it makes it seem like Arkansas doesn't know what's going on, or they have people in high places who don't know how to keep their mouth shut. That's just a bad look in general, okay? And so it'd be nice to know that people in those circles can figure out maybe if they – and you said this, Josh, earlier too. Sometimes people just want to let people know what's going on. I probably wouldn't tell that to a member of the media who you know is going to say something because, you know, in the media, everybody wants to be the first one to get it out. Sometimes it comes back to bite you. So Trey's been dealing with that. But I do not believe that's why we did not get Alex Golesh. And from Alex Golesh's point of view, it seems like these conversations never happened in the first place. All right.
Well, I wouldn't. If I was Alex Golesh, I wouldn't. I'd probably say the same thing. I'd probably just come out and say, like he did in the press conference, that this didn't. You know, it's not true. You know, it's not true. And the flip side of the coin, to give Trey Schapp confidence that maybe he was onto something. You know, moment. Maybe it wasn't complete malarkey. Alex Golesh could easily have shown intent, had spoken with the university and had intent on potentially signing, and given some good words back to them and gave them some confidence that he was going to do it. But hey, I want to keep this under wraps. Let me get through this weekend's game. I want to, be focused on my team, blah, 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 blah. And then it comes out. It's very fair to say that could rub a guy the wrong way, especially when you have other teams that are potentially trying to court you. That could easily just go, I asked those guys to keep this under wraps and they didn't.
Yeah.
There's a world where that could have happened. And so to say that Trey Schapp's source is completely, not legitimate, I don't even want to say that. But I don't think it's Trey Schapp who's at fault for just tweeting that. I mean, somebody gave him that information. He's doing his job. If it is legitimate, he said it. And if that did rub Alex Golesh the wrong way, I mean, so be it. It did.
Yeah.
I don't know that. I think there's both things can be true. You know what I'm saying?
So, and I'll say this too. Do I think that was enough to feel confident to put out that tweet? I personally wouldn't.
No, that's why why you have producers who make sure that you run it by them before they go to press with it.
Yeah.
It's got to be verified.
Well, and then there's the other end too, where if he really does trust this source, and this source is supposed to be legit, and then the only thing that I think would save Trey's face is for him to say, you know what, no longer a source. His name is so-and-so, and this is what he told me. And then we'd be like, but he's not going to do that. All right, so moving on from that, it is what it is. We are where we are. And this is where it comes to our guy, Ryan Silverfield, makes his way to Fayetteville. I'm going to show a quick clip of him addressing the team, and we're going to talk about how quickly he has gotten to work. We got to talk about some of these in-state recruits. I got some stuff I want to talk about here in a second, but here's the head coach addressing the team for the first time.
We are going to build something very, very special, and today is the start of that. So when I talk about being all in, boys, we're going to be freaking all in, and we're going to get after it. We're going to kick people's ass, and we're going to do it the right way. And we're going to have success in every single thing we do. I'm just telling you, I'm so damn fired up to get to work with you guys.
Fired up. That was the name, that's the word and the phrase he kept on saying all day. He also went on to say, too, and if any of you want to transfer, and you transfer to another team in the SEC, I just want to make sure that we're going to kick your ass next year. All right? And so I don't know the response from that. I don't see the point of even saying that. I think he's just excited. I think he's pumped up to be a head coach here at the University of Arkansas. And he's already put down some groundwork, okay? So let's go and take a look. If you get on social media today, National Signing Day is 2 days away, okay? And you had some of the top players in the state. Now, we've been on this for how long, Josh? About getting in-state players. Why are we missing on these guys? Why can't we focus on the guys in our own backyard? Ja'Cory Smith, he goes to Bryant, plays linebacker, transfer from Parkview. He is the number 4 ranked player in the state. He was committed to Oklahoma. He switched his commitment and said that he is going to be a Razorback. The number 1 ranked player in the state, Danny Bill, we went down and talked to him. He was committed to Oklahoma State, wasn't sure about Arkansas. I asked him, I said, Danny, you're from here. What would it take you to be a Razorback? Name anything. And then he sat down and he thought for a second. Then he looked up and he says, man, no one's ever really asked me that. And I said, that's a problem. All right. Now he is committed to go to Arkansas. Terry Hodges, the number 3 ranked player in the state, running back for Bryant Hornets, was committed to Mizzou. He switched from good old Eli Drinkwitz, and now he's coming on over to the Razorbacks as well. And I believe, haven't confirmed this yet, but I'm pretty sure the number 5 ranked player in the state, Anthony Kennedy, plays D tackle for Little Rock Central, who's committed to Miami. I heard he'd flip. I'm not sure yet, but I think that has happened. So you got 4 of the state's top 5 players all switch commitments and now going to the University of Arkansas overnight. How cool is that? And we're missing one guy, Evan Goodwin. If you're listening, holler at me, big dog. He's our number 2 player in the state. He's going to SMU. He's a big offensive lineman. Would love to hear that happen too. But I will say this, and I'll talk about this a little bit later. For all these guys to flip the way they flip, I just feel like there's something else at play right here as well. I know a lot of people, I love the fact that Ryan Silverfield is making phone calls, and I'll tell you this. They have called Kane Archer, all right? That phone call was made, okay?
I was going to ask you that.
Yeah, they have. That phone call has been made. Now, the details of what they believe he is valued at I don't know yet. Okay, so we're going to sit back and wait and see how all that plays out. Okay, so I think if they show him that they really value him, and nowadays that's going to be with talking about what the scheme looks like. This is what the offensive coordinator is going to do. This is what the NIL opportunities will be like. There's going to be so many different things that goes into his decision. So I'm hoping they present it in a way that makes him say, okay, this program really values me, and they can also set me up for success here for my set of skills. I think that would be really cool to happen. But I'm looking at a couple of these guys, and as I go around and talking to guys in the state, there's one name that's in common with a lot of these players I just talked about. Terry Hodges, Danny Bill, Anthony Kennedy. And I don't know this. This is pure speculation. There's a guy that we used to play for who's a really good recruiter who knows a lot of these guys, and his name is Al Davis, all right? Coach Alfred Davis was a coach at Missouri D-line, and he recruited the state of Arkansas. That's why we ended up having a lot of players leave to go to Missouri. I wouldn't be surprised if something's going on in the way. And I'll say this, too. I really do believe Ryan Silverfield, something that he could do to help this program is bring in guys like Alfred Davis, 100%. Bring in guys like a Tim Horton, bring in guys that have been there, done that, and have all these connections within the state. It can also have a pulse on what matters to this state as well. But you have to be pumped up with how quickly he came in, and you wake up this morning and all of these homegrown players are staying here in the state of Arkansas.
Yeah, 100%. I think as soon as we heard Ryan Silverfield, everybody had kind of got their eyes set on Golish, and then we heard Ryan Silverfield, and regardless of the reality of it, it felt like a loss. It felt like we didn't get the guy that we had all thought we were going to get, and now we have this other guy that we weren't even mentally prepared for. But look, what we're seeing already happen with recruits, regardless of the experience, regardless of success and conference championships at Memphis, regardless of all that, what we needed to happen was to get in-state player, to build a fence around the state and get in-state players, build pride back in the University of Arkansas program. And the best way to show that is that your top talent in the state of Arkansas wants to go play for the Razorbacks. So far, he's off to a great start. We're not even 24 hours in on a Monday, and he's making this happen. Now, I can tell you this, what you said about Kane Archer earlier, I truly think, DJ, if he goes and gets Kane Archer, you can argue, everybody can argue about the future of Kane Archer, what they think he can be or can't be in college. I personally believe that he's a guy that you can build a program around and can lead your offense extremely efficiently down the field every drive. I like guys like that, guys that I can trust with the ball. You put a guy like that who almost has this, oddly enough, this Tim Tebow type feel to him, and you put a bunch of weapons around them, and all of a sudden you've inspired this entire state. And what that trickles over to is not only just when Arkansas does get its lonely 5-star, all of a sudden now he wants to go to the University of Arkansas. But what that also does is it gets all of these small towns and the fan base across the state feeling prideful again about the Arkansas Razorbacks. And then what happens, DJ, in this NIL world? Now we've got towns on towns on towns who actually want to support a program because they believe in it. And Houston Nutt used to make you believe. And I don't really care about Silverfield's speech that he just gave. I don't think it was a Houston Nutt-esque speech. He's working on that. We're going to get there. But what he is doing is he's going out and getting these recruits. And I think that that's the first strong thing that you can do as a coach is let me go land the guys that matter. And then I'll start building our pride back here at the university. And again, your boy, Justin Acree, pointed out, he didn't have to come to Arkansas. He wanted to come to Arkansas. Yeah, it's a step up, but for any up-and-coming coach, Silverfield could have just stuck it out this year at Memphis and waited for another opportunity in the SEC to come open because he was due his opportunity here soon. He didn't have to pick Arkansas. I love a guy that wants to be at Arkansas.
I'm looking at the chat right now, and a lot of names are popping up. Kevin Young. You got Deuce Williams over there at Robinson. Another name that popped up, Enoch Hassan. You got so many of these guys. This is where I'm curious about. I feel like these other guys, I know they are tied to Alfred Davis, and so I'd be very curious. I start doing some poking. But if anything, I think that shows the value of somebody like him. And just imagine if he was here and always here in the state of Arkansas, picking apart all these guys and the relationships with high school coaches, then you don't miss out on a potential Deuce Williams or a Kevin Young or Enoch and let these guys go play somewhere else. So great start. I like the way that it's going so far. We got to just sit back and see how conversations happen. And the thing about this, too, I want Razorback fans to know, if we go this route, and I know a lot of people like it, That route takes time, okay? And you want immediate success, okay? The thing about with where we are right now, I believe we do have that year and a half to maybe do something like this. Out of all the players I just talked about, I think, and I'm not trying to, hate on any of these guys, the one that I think could come in and immediately make an impact, just size-wise and physicality-wise, would be Danny Bill. I think the other guys got some room to grow, but I think it would be worth it. I think it would be worth paying them and saying, okay, we're going to pay you this, and we're going to build you and show value. And when you're ready, you're going to be the new foundation of what we want Razorback football to look like, built with guys from within the state. Okay, let's go. Go ahead.
Well, DJ, I was just going to say that this, Arkansas fans out there looking at this program, man, it sucks to be 2-10. It absolutely sucks. But the difference in this 2-10 and Chad Morris's 2-10 is that we went down swinging in the fourth quarter, game after game after game, with some of the best in the country. That did not happen in the late 2018, 2019 seasons. We were not swinging with anybody but San Jose State or something. It was bad. Yeah. This season, we are so close. So the build over, the turnover year to year is different in the NIL era. So if we can make sure that we capitalize on this offseason in the NIL world, and at the same time just build on the simple stuff that we need to build on so that we can pull out some close games, we can turn this program around a lot quicker than what it would have taken, say, Chad Morris to Sam Pittman. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And I'll say this too, when it comes to Kane Archer that we were talking about. So I'm reading some of these comments as well. We can't forget about KJ Jackson. All right. I think that's a guy that you need to keep. We got 100%. Another guy from Little Rock as well, and Grayson Wilson. And so you got, I like being able to bring these guys in and say, now let's go compete. All right. Let's go do some iron sharpen iron. And that's what it was when we were there, and it worked. And hopefully they can build that environment with Coach Silverfield of not having these guys get in their feelings and then deciding to transfer because they're not getting any PT. Hopefully they can trust the process. That's exactly where we need to go. All right, Josh, I'm going to go ahead and let you go. But before that, we got to tell people what's coming up, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and cover for Grant, all right? I'm going to have you cover for Matt, all right? So coming up Tuesday, we got an offensive line coach, okay? With that, we got an offensive guru on our staff here at 4th and 5. So Let Grant Cook will be happening. He's going to dig into the blocking schemes, the type of players that would really do well and thrive within a Silverfield type offense. Now, I will say this. He was an offensive line experience over 7 years in the NFL, and that's his go-to. But as far as offensive coordinating and calling the plays, that's really not his cup of tea, okay? So Grant Cook's going to take a look at, what our current roster has and who we potentially need to keep, and that'll be fun. That will be coming up Tuesday, tomorrow. All right, Josh, what's my guy Matt Harris got coming up Thursday with Getting Defensive?
Yeah, I was having a chance to chat with Matt, but I think what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the Arkansas defense and what we need to keep as far as personnel on Arkansas, because there were some guys there that did play well. Neal is a guy that comes to mind. I don't know how much eligibility he has, but we're going to go ahead and break down the Arkansas defense, what guys do have remaining eligibility and who we need to keep out of the transfer portal. Then we're also going to take a look at some of that Memphis defense to see what Coach Silverfield really liked to run while he was at Memphis. Maybe we can get an idea of what we can see next year and what we can be working to.
And Josh, also what I want from you Friday, man, as good as a coach is, it's more important to have a staff. So we're going to be on lookout, and you're going to let us know potentially what could be some good potential hires, even if it's people he currently has on staff as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's going to start off with DJ Williams to help with recruiting coordination at the University of Arkansas. Man, I would love that. I would love it. Arkansas needs it. We need a guy that loves Arkansas that can help bridge the gap between these high school players and the coaching staff. And I'm gonna petition for that, DJ, more than you're comfortable with, okay? Because I really think that that's what we need.
I don't know, but more than I'm comfortable with kind of scares me. All right, so I'll let you do what you need to do. Until then, I'm just going to sit back and worry about this 4th and 5, all right? I appreciate you, man. You have a good one, all right?
Sounds good, brother.
Josh Throne, always having a good time. Grant's on a work trip in D.C. Matt has some family time here tonight. So let's get into what we have for you right now. So, I always got my breakdown. We usually break down the previous game. I feel pretty good, and I think I got a little sense of awareness of my crowd. I feel like we're not too worried about going over that Missouri game and breaking down that tape. Now, if you want it, you let me know. Maybe we can do a little special edition, all right? We're going to focus on Ryan Silverfield at Memphis, okay? We're trying to get an idea of what he's going to bring here to the University of Arkansas. This won't be spot on. I don't know what coordinators he may bring with them. The player, personnel, all that's going to be different. Just very excited to see if we can get some element, because I saw some stuff when I was going through this today that I was just like, okay, I'm pumped up about that. And I saw a few things where I was nervous. So this first half right here, we're just going to go through the makeup of what he tried to do at Memphis. And then we're going to go to break and come back and then watch film at Memphis to kind of show you philosophies with Ryan Silverfield. So first thing I want to pop up with this guy, let's go ahead and talk about him a little bit. When you talk about this guy, these things pop up a lot. Stability and consistency. You have back-to-back 10-win seasons. Okay, he had 11 one year, then 10 the other. He's a player-first, culture-driven leadership, so he needs coaches to kind of back off a little bit, and hopefully it comes within the team. It reminds me when I was there with Coach Trino, with the Ryan Mallets, with the Jake Beckett, with the Jerry Franklins, those leaders from within the team. Jarius Wright, Joe Adams, all those. That was special, okay? Same thing with Darren McFadden, Felix Jones, all those guys. He wants that culture where coaches don't always have to try to motivate guys to play football. You need guys who want to play football without a coach making them do so. So that'll be big. He also promotes from within, but he's not afraid to hire outside. I think sometimes loyalty is a really good thing and sometimes could be a crutch, okay? Because a lot of guys like to bring their guys over, but sometimes there are people out there that if you see what they're doing around the country, you have to have a head coach who's comfortable enough to say, hey, I love y'all from within, but I just can't promote you because we got somebody out there that can be better for our program, and then be able to facilitate that to make sure that everybody's on the same page. I'll tell you this, I've been in a lot of locker rooms, a lot of film rooms, a lot of different teams, and the offensive line coach, I've never came across one that is not loved by the whole team, all right? Because you got to think they have a very unique position. You know, you got your receivers who, a lot of prima donnas and individuals, running back, quarterback, but the O-line, they are the one cohesive unit where they all have to be on the same page every single play of the game, and you have to have a very strong personality that can make sure that you got 5 grown, big, 300-plus pound men to make sure they're not selfish, okay? So I really like the O-line background, and I think, you know, a lot of people talk about Sam Pittman. You can say what you want to say about his coaching, but as far as the person and having people wanting to play for him, he had that down. And then when the NIL became a thing and money became a thing, I think that type of style of coaching struggled for Sam Pittman. He's a little bit more old school. We get a little bit more youth coming in here, and he's able to adjust a little bit more. I think it could work. We're going to have to wait and see. Also, too, he has an offensive identity with improved defensive physicality. That's going to be the thing, okay? So it's pretty wild. Memphis dealt with a little bit of the same things that Arkansas dealt with earlier in the year. Offense is great. What's going on with the defense, okay? But I will say the struggle of where their defense was a lot better than where we struggled with that defense. Chris Caver, I see you right now. I'll get to that here in a second. And I encourage all the super chats. But I would encourage you not to do super chats on that like this because we just got a lot of moving parts and it's kind of hard to put those up, okay? I'll try to circle back around and answer your question here in just a second. Okay, so that's a little breakdown on Ryan Silverfield. So a guy like this, I said this earlier on the radio today, and a lot of people said, I said he kind of reminds me a little bit of the way Sam Pittman built his team, okay? Everybody, and I said, hear me out on this one, okay? So Sam Pittman did not specialize in offensive play calling. He didn't specialize in defensive play calling. His first years, he made sure he went out and tried to go get coordinators to take care of that for him and let them coach based off of his philosophy. And it did well, got us to 9 wins. Then the NIL came into the thing, and I think Silverfield is a little bit of the same way, okay? He sets the tone. He has the identity. But we got to talk about who was calling the shots, okay? Let me go back one slide right there. So who was calling the plays? So on the defensive side of the balls, they had Jordan Hankins with Spence Nowinski. Now, Spence Nowinski was not there last year. He came in 1 year to co-coordinate on the defensive side of the ball with Jordan Hankins, who is now the individual defensive coordinator. On the offensive side of the ball and who had full play calling control was Tim Cramsey. Okay, so we're going to dig into both of these. And the only reason I'm bringing this up, because so often do we see a head coach leave and he brings his guys with him. Ask Lane Kiffin about it. He took 9 of his coaches, put them on the plane with him, and they're in LSU while they got a team back there trying to win a national championship, okay? So there's something about wanting to bring your guys with you because y'all all know how to operate together. It's you got the chemistry. You know what each other's thinking. You know what the head coach wants. Everybody knows their lane. It just makes workflow a little bit easier. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at the offensive side of the ball. And this is what this coach is going to bring to the table if he comes, okay? And I only say this because Silverfield liked this guy to bring him over here. So this may be what he's trying to do here at Arkansas as well. So the offensive coordinator, he's fast, efficient. He has explosive spread offense, okay? So he prefers tempo. He has very creative formations. We're going to look at some film. And the thing about his formations, he does it without changing personnel. Okay, so you know what that means? Yes, this is what gets me excited. When you have the ability to run a fast tempo offense and have multiple formations and not change personnel, that means you're going to have a pretty dang good tight end on that football field. Okay, you got a guy who can do both, who can go out and be a receiver, be at the end of the line of scrimmage as a tight end, move him into the backfield like a fullback, and help pass pro and run block as well. You got to have a very diverse tight end to run this type of offense. Makes me very excited. I'm a little biased, okay? He has a heavy use of RPO. I say heavy use of RPO. I went and looked. I feel like he's still more of the read option like Arkansas, and not so much RPO like Alex Golish, but it is in the playbook. They do a lot of zone read, some play action. And I will say this is a very quarterback-friendly offense. I'll kind of describe what I'm talking about here in just a second. If the scheme fits the players, he'll do it. If not, then he'll figure something else out. I really like that because you see so many coordinators who want to do it their way. They just don't have the personnel to do so. So you can be stubborn and try to force a square something in a round hole. I'm not sure whatever that thing is, but you see a lot of guys do that. He will adjust, okay? He has high energy, emotional coach. Players respond to his intensity and his teaching style. I got this marked down that a lot of players said that he is off the walls, okay? So he's going to bring a lot of energy to this, I would say, locker room and the offensive side of the ball. And it's pretty cool whenever a team says that about a coach, how he says he's crazy, but they like to play for him. That's also a good sign. His offense statistically ranks amongst the nation's best in scoring efficiency and explosive plays, okay? So I really like that. So what's the downside with this type of offense? I will say what to watch out for and what it demands. We'll start with that, okay? To execute this spread option and be balanced at the same time, you need to make sure that you have the offensive line in play to do so, and a quarterback that is very good in between the years. You have to have it. You're going to let that quarterback make a lot of decisions, okay? Every time you have these read option type offenses, you know, it's not so much coach on the offensive sideline calling the play after seeing what the defense is doing, maybe getting the check in and trusting himself. He's trusting the quarterback to do a lot of this, okay? Quarterback has to make good decisions. That's what the scheme requires. And the thing, too, if they don't have the personnel to run this type of offense, look for an extremely long year for the Arkansas Razorbacks. That's what we got cooking up on the offensive side of the ball. Let's go ahead and move on over to the defensive side of the ball. Defined by a tough physical front seven, and stopping is their biggest strength. So stopping the run is their biggest strength. The reason I said earlier about Arkansas's weakness was up front. We talked about it all year long. Can we get pressure? Oh, hey, Quincy Rhodes, that's nice. Who else can help? We didn't get anything up front, okay? That's not the case with Memphis. Strong front four, great two linebackers to back them up. They struggled in the secondary, okay? That was their Achilles heel this year. So let's go ahead and get into a few things. They had multiple games holding teams under 100 yards. Now, I will say this, conference and competition does come into play here. They thrive for tackles for a loss, sacks, and forcing negative plays. They're an opportunistic unit, good at creating turnovers, and the front seven is winning. They had a turnover against Arkansas right on the goal line. I think we all remember that. God, should have won that game. Once again, the weakness is going to be that defensive backfield, okay? So I know a lot of Razorback fans weren't pumped up about that, especially this year. How many times we got players get behind our secondary, how many missed tackles our secondary had. I'm going to show you some clips here in just a second of the physicality and the speed that Memphis played at that I think Arkansas really lacked, okay? When facing elite quarterbacks, Memphis struggled. covering and communication in the deep ball defense. Arkansas did the same thing. So once again, to wrap this up, the summary would be the identity up front. They're physical. You got to like that. I'm looking right now at the chat room. I'm seeing a name, Anthony Kennedy, 6'6", 315 pounds. You got Danny Bill. He's about 6'4", about 320 pounds. You know, you already are realizing they're trying to stack up on building this identity on the football team, and it has to start up front. The cool thing about having an offensive line coach is they understand where the game was won, especially here in the SEC. And you have to have the big guys up front to make something happen. So that's a little breakdown of what he'd like to do at Memphis. Now, will that happen here at Arkansas? I don't know. Will he bring these coordinators with him? I don't know. But I'll tell you one name that does pop up. I didn't get to that slide. I meant to do it. I think a good spot, because I'm not sure if Silverfield is bringing the defensive line coach over here with him. Now, the reason I don't know why, but Arkansas fans can be familiar with him because he was here with the previous staff coaching D-line at Arkansas, okay? So he does have some ties, and so it would be an interesting choice for Silverfield to make. We do know that he brought his strength coach over, so we're just trying to figure out who else is coming. But if there's an opening for D-line, anybody who watches 4th and 5, rock with us. And I'm getting a chat right here. This is from Patrick Ward. I was trying to wait on confirmation. Anthony Kennedy just committed. Anthony Kennedy just committed. I'm assuming you're confirming this for me. I'll roll with you. Don't make me be like Trey, all right? I'm trusting you on this one. I mean, you can't put it in the chat. I'm going to try to circle back around to Chris's comment. Then you go ahead and roll that music. We're getting ready to go to break. Super chat coming in from Chris Caver. DJ, can you break down some tape on classic games this offseason? 2010 Arkansas versus Bama. No, I'm not doing that. Do you want to make me relive that game? I still think about that game. I mean, it was a good game. I'll redo the Arkansas LSU one. And no, I'm not doing the Arkansas Ohio State game. Chris, I thought we were friends. You and I can't do that. It's going to make me all sensitive and cry. Stop the music real quick. Let me get this out. You know what? For you, Chris, I'll think about it, okay? But I'm just going to let fans know in advance. I really do feel like the Sugar Bowl was my fault. I didn't know you had that sound cue ready. You're about to get a fine, okay? We ran a play. You know, we just blocked the punt. Everybody puts it on the scoop and score. Okay, whatever, all right? But now the offense is out there, and we run a play, and it's the go-to play. Boom, I run a good route, get open, and I see Mallet throws it, and I'm right here, catching, and I'm looking upfield because I want to try to break one and see what we can do. Didn't look the ball in the tuck. We learned that in like 5th grade. So I dropped the ball. It's 2nd down, and we're like, come on, we got this. We got this. Then he throws a pick the next play, okay? And I feel like it's all my fault, all right? Because if I don't drop that ball, then Mallet never throws that pick. I don't think so. And then we potentially win the Sugar Bowl, all right? Yes, I know it probably all could have been avoided if we scoop and scored, all right? But you can only control what you can control. Dang it, Chris. I still appreciate you, though, as always. Now we're about to go to break. Coming up on the other side, we got to take a look at some of the tape from Memphis last year. I explained all these things. Now I'm going to show you a few things to kind of piece it all together of what we potentially could expect next year from the Arkansas Razorbacks. We'll be right back after this break.
Okay. I got my bet in on the next drive. Y'all? Yep. Whoever loses picks up the tab.
You know, this Oakland Sports betting app is so fun to use, it might actually make watching these games with y'all bearable.
Big talk coming from a fella about to lose this wager.
Just need a field goal here and you'll be cooked, my friend. Remember our friendly wager.
And it's good.
Bet on any game all season long with Oakland Sports, Arkansas's best sports betting app.
This is humiliating.
This Thanksgiving season, don't be a turkey and let pain sit at the head of your table. Whether you're dealing with aching joints, stubborn sprains, lingering pain, or even breaks that just won't heal, Ortho Arkansas is here to help you get back to what matters most. Our team of orthopedic specialists is ready to get you moving, feeling better, and enjoying every moment with family and friends. So before the holiday rush, stop by Ortho Arkansas or book your appointment today. This year, give yourself the gift of comfort and let Ortho Arkansas help you walk into the holidays pain-free.
Looking to rep the Hogs in style? Stop by Be Unlimited, Fayetteville's go-to spot for custom apparel and officially licensed Razorback gear. Need custom shirts for your team, business, or event? Their in-house crew makes it quick, easy, and done right. Shop in-store or online at shop.b-unlimited.com and show your Arkansas pride. Be Limited, where passion meets design.
Hey y'all, this is Cam here at Southwest Ford in Arkadelphia. We just built our brand new 3 facilities here, our GMC, Dodge, and Ford facilities. If you're coming down the highway on I-30, take exit 78. We'll be 1.5 miles down the road. You're gonna look on the right-hand side and you're gonna see our beautiful Chevrolet store. Right past that, you're gonna see our beautiful Dodge store. And at the end, you're gonna see our wonderful Ford store. Our 3 facilities here make it so easy for you to shop here. Whether it's online or in person, we have almost everything you want and need. And if we don't have it, we'll go out and get it for you. If you live somewhere far, north, east, south, or west, we will deliver to you. Free delivery across the whole state. Please come down and come see me at Southwest Auto Ford in Arkadelphia.
Every student deserves the chance to succeed. The Land of Opportunity Scholarship at the University of Arkansas helps high-achieving Arkansans with financial need earn their degree and change their future. Learn more about my highest priority.
All right, welcome back. Once again at the Mainline Sports Bar. Having a good time. Once again, I really encourage people to come out. It won't be too long before these ponies start racing over here at Oaklawn. But that's where we're going to be every Monday night leading up into the end of the year. I think we're going to be here a couple days after New Year's as well. All right, welcome back in. Hanging out in the chat room right now, taking a look at some of these comments. Anthony Kennedy did indeed commit another one. Little Rock Central kid that was committed to Miami. Flip in saying he's going to be a Razorback. You got to be pumped up about that. Well, I saw somebody say something. Oh, here we go. See, this is what I'm going to find you, guy in the chair. Says, not your fault, but that womp womp sound took me out. Why you got to do me like that? All right. That was on cue. Good times, good times. All right. Somebody asked me, what type of offense does Silverfield like to run? Where have you been the past 47 minutes? That's all we've been talking about, okay? It's going to be more of his coordinators, okay? He leans on the coordinators on the offense and defensive side of the ball. He's going to be more of a set the tone. This is the physicality I like to play with. Are we going to go for it on 4th down or not? Are we going to try to run more this game? Should we pass more this game? And we're not sure who he's going to bring over as well, all right? So we're going to have to wait and see what staff he decides to assemble. But let's go ahead and get to the tape, all right? So let's take a look at a few of these plays. And, yes, I'm going to bring up the Arkansas-Memphis game, okay, because we got a good gauge of what we know from Arkansas. And think about this, too. This is the start of the second half. Arkansas up 28-17. If you remember, it was another one of those games, like how did we let this one slip away? I'll tell you, though, this team, man, from start to finish, even the way they started, you could tell that they were flying around. They were very physical. Ryan Silverfield had this team ready to go. It's almost like they were playing with a chip on their shoulder. Somebody asked me to break down the Memphis UAB game. If we have time this week, we'll go ahead and try to knock that out. We just got a lot on our plate right now trying to catch up and figure out what this coach is going to bring to the table. All right, so let's go ahead and start right here. This is going to be the beginning of the third quarter, as you can see right here. And like I said, multiple formations from this team without changing personnel a lot, okay? So you see that guy that's kind of off to the – I don't know why I said see him. I act like I can't draw a circle on him. You see this guy right here. That's going to be your tight end, okay? He's going to be the guy that moves around so many multiple places. He allows them to be very creative with the formations so that they don't have to substitute and keep that tempo going and try to, you know, obviously against Arkansas, they knew they were depleted on that defensive line. How can we keep those guys on the field and get them tired, okay? So let's go ahead and get into it. Once again, you're going to see this pop up a lot for Memphis. Their offensive line, a pretty good unit. And I'll say this, especially with less resources than schools like Arkansas. So for what they have, pretty competitive team. Now, I know their conference they do fairly well, but this team, year in and year out, when they play teams that are in better conferences or divisions or whatever than them, they always seem to compete very, very well. So you're going to see consistent offensive line play. You're going to see the quarterback get out of the pocket quite often. Here's that tight end I just talked about that was on the side of the line of scrimmage. Now you got him flexed out into the slot position. This was like my favorite when I played. So this type of offense is going to potentially attract a big-time tight end who has the ability to be like that Hunter Henry where you can split him out wide and see if you get mismatches with a bigger linebacker that's too slow, or even if you put a corner on him, then you can just body him. I mean, so many options pop up when you have a flexible tight end that can do multiple things. Then you get to a situation right here. I like the way that their offense is built. You got so many options within each play, depending on what the defense wants to do. You're going to have a side to the field that is built for man-to-man beaters, and then you're going to have another side with zone beaters, okay? So this side is going to be your man-to-man beater with a slant and press coverage. And then if they wanted to go zone, you'd probably go work backside, and they have more of these spacing-type routes to try to open up windows. Quarterback sees this man-to-man, get the ball out early on the 2nd and 6. I forgot how bad we tackled this game. It's so weird doing this breakdown right now, too, and not focusing on Arkansas. I feel like a traitor, but we just got to talk about it, all right? All right, let's get into another situation. Big thing for them, decisions by the quarterback. You're going to get these read options. We've seen Talon do this all the time, but they have the extra added element of the pass, all right? So he can hand this off, or he can pull it and run, or he can pull it and then throw it off to the running back, okay? So one extra element from what we're used to seeing at Arkansas. What's the effort from 14 right there? All right, I'm going to try my best not to talk about Arkansas. Moving on from that. Once again, tight end all over the place. Got them tucked into the line of scrimmage. And once again, multiple formations. This time you use them in a blocking scheme. Same thing with a little read option. Try to keep things moving, keep the tempo going. And then you get to a 2nd and 13, okay? So I'm curious about these type of offenses. What decisions are we going to go with if you're going to leave it up to the quarterback, okay? So we go ahead and snap. It's going to be a straight-up pass. And so you got these guys playing off. This is what I like, okay? Now, I don't know how often that they've done this, and I don't know if this was just against Arkansas. I have not watched every Memphis game this year. I'm just going to go ahead and say that. I may have to start trying to watch it to get a better feel for potentially, if this coordinator comes, what we can expect next year. But I felt like sometimes Talon felt like in these situations we had to get it all, okay? That's not the case. You have to take what the defense gives you. Put yourself in a position to convert a much shorter attempt than these 3rd and 13. So I like the decision right here. Going underneath, understanding that Arkansas was going to play off and play this, try bend, not break defense. Great pocket and great delivery right there. Offensive line did a really good job picking up that blitz. I think that blitz could have been better. I'll let it be. All right, let's go and get to a 3rd and 7. How do we operate on 3rd down, okay? It's going to be the money down, okay? Let's see what they're cooking up over there at Memphis. Let's go ahead and press play. And look at this. Arkansas gets pressure, gets a sack. Let's go. But take another look, okay? I think the offensive line did a really good job, and the quarterback is doing a good job with his eyes, but he got off of this way too quick. How many times have I said this about Talon? About when he starts feeling pressure, sometimes you have to understand if the play is going to develop, then you're just going to have to stay in there, deliver the ball, and take a big hit on the chin. This is a missed opportunity for Memphis right here. I'm just, once again, talking about the play calls from this coordinator. What is he cooking up? As we press play, you can see right now this DB gets caught up in this double move, and then he starts to stumble. He's about to fall down, and right behind him, this receiver came wide open. The quarterback from Memphis just didn't stay in there long enough to deliver this ball, all right? If I was the coordinator, I'd be throwing a fit right now saying, just take the hit, but score a touchdown. Got to like the operation on 3rd down. I really couldn't get a grasp of what they did over there, but I did see the end part of a double move, and it worked out well. This one is kind of interesting to me because in a read option, you usually let one guy go. You don't block somebody, okay? And if you take a look right here, they're not blocking this defensive end up top, but the quarterback's really not reading him. I'm not sure who he's reading right now. And so I don't know if sometimes they make it look like a read option, but it's going to be a design run the whole time. That could be a little wrinkle in this type of offense if you're trying to make sure you're making the decision for the quarterback and not letting the quarterback make the decision. That was a little weird because I wasn't sure who he was running. Let's go and get to the defensive side of the ball. And if this coordinator comes over, he likes to throw up some exotic looks. He's going to try to make the offensive line figure out who's the D lineman, who are the linebackers, who's going to be in the 5-man protection, and who's going to be the running back's responsibility, and where's the pressure coming from. He did a really good job kind of mixing it up, trying to make it confusing for Arkansas. We saw that one play towards the end of the game. They had one man run completely free unblocked because of these very exotic looks that Arkansas struggled with. Another thing that Arkansas struggled with, if you've watched a lot of breakdowns, I talked about number 14 from Arkansas, Steven Dix, okay? And I said, him trying to tackle in open space is one of the hardest things that I have to try to watch and talk about in my breakdowns. It's tough, y'all. But the thing that I used to say, like, you are big, strong, fast, okay? Why do you always try to collect yourself, chop your feet, and break down? Just go run through the guy. Go run through him. If you miss, then you got somebody else coming up behind you. But if you just don't even, make this guy move at anything, it's just bad news. You're wasting space out there. Look at this guy, okay? He just explodes through this guy, doesn't chop his feet. He just plays with physicality and speed. I got to like that. Those type of things, when you see them on tape, those things happen in practice. Those things get preached in the meeting room. Those things are not just that one player deciding to play like that. That stuff like that comes from the top, okay? So I really like that style of play. And if we go back and watch this whole tape, I can show you about 3 or 4 different defensive linemen. It's almost like they took it personal and just wanted to fight Arkansas. I like that approach to the game, and I'm assuming that's coming from Silverfield. If not, then probably that D coordinator. I don't know. I like it, though. Created a little confusion up front, bringing one, dropping one. Discipline. When we played Texas, they would run all these bubble screens, these double moves, and our DBs would kind of get their eyes in a bad spot and not be disciplined and give up some big-time plays. Great discipline by this DB from Memphis, not biting on that double move from Omega Blake. 3rd and 13, getting off the field. They're making their comeback. Okay, you see it's 2028. And once again, I talked about that physicality up front. Watch this defensive tackle come off the ball. He is exploding through our center right there. And then you got this other defensive end, number 9. I was hoping he was a junior or had another extra year of eligibility because he was my favorite player to watch from Memphis. And I was hoping if he still had the eligibility that Silverfield would say, hey, come on over here with me. This dude was special, okay? And I really liked the way that he played. He was a senior, though. But, nowadays there's no telling what you can come up with and be like Pavia and play for like 8 years. Makes a big-time play in the backfield, but they're just getting off the ball, okay? Another one right here, this is where I think they're going to struggle, okay, or at least where they did struggle with the defensive scheme. It's all about their front 7. If their front 7 doesn't hit, they really struggled, that is, in the secondary. You can see right here, they try to bring a little unique blitz. Arkansas, great job picking it up, but in the back end, with all these holes opened up in the zone coverage or man coverage, that's where they showed that they struggled the most on tape. That's something that if the philosophy of building it all up front is going to hurt your back end, especially with nowadays, because you got to pay players. If you spend all your money up front, they better get there. Because if not, you got some big-time receivers in the SEC that are going to be playing some guys that they can't cover that long. They're going to give you about 3 seconds. And after that 3 seconds, it's going to be a long day watching that film of these deep shots happening all day. So we got to get there if we're going to commit everything to up front. But once again, guys like this who just have the explosiveness to come off, be savvy, interrupt plays. But this is another thing I think Arkansas struggled with. When we went back and watched tape from this game specifically, how many times did their running back get outside in a situation like this and outrun us to the edge? Because we didn't have guys that were pursuing down the line of scrimmage. It was just like, oh, I hope he makes the tackle. Oh, I hope he makes the tackle. Like I said, these things, I think, carry over from practice, in my opinion, okay? The pursuit down the line of scrimmage of corralling that, I thought was special to see, and I think that could be a little slight indicator of what we could potentially have here at Arkansas. Now, like I said, I don't know who's coming. I don't know who the offensive coordinator is or the defensive coordinator is. I don't have a source. I don't even want a source, okay? I just want all this stuff to kind of play out, and as it does, we're just going to break it down and try to give you our opinion of what to expect next year. We got a long time before that first Razorback football game. Luckily, we got a cool basketball season to look forward to, but we're going to do our part, okay? So the things I'm looking for from this coach right now is something that we've already seen. What's going on with the recruiting part? I know a lot of guys are switching away from high school guys, and they're going heavy in the portal. For them to come in immediately and flip 5 or 4 of the top 5 players in the state in one day, that's big. Now, obviously, if you're going to rebuild from scratch, it's hard to have a whole team full of freshmen out there, or redshirt freshmen or redshirt sophomores. You're going to need some guys, okay? So you still have to go and spend some of that money in the portal. I would say some of it, probably a pretty good chunk. It's just, where are you going to build the foundation of your program? And for me, I think that lies with the quarterback position. Do you go get a guy who has 1 year left? I'm not a big fan of that, okay? Because you're going to do all this just to start over from scratch the very next year, okay? Would I love it to come from within? We got a redshirt freshman this year who's going to be on his redshirt sophomore year with KJ Jackson. We got another freshman behind him in Wilson. And we have the potential of getting somebody like a Kane Archer, okay? I think KJ right now would be ready, okay? But I guess we're just going to have to sit and see how that goes. I'm just not trying to put a Band-Aid on something this year, y'all. I think a lot of Razorback fans want wins right now. We popped up the question in our chat the other day, what's your expectation for next year? I heard some people say 8 wins. I want 9 wins. I'm like, whoa. Do you realize what conference we're in? Do you realize we got 6 teams right now that got 10 wins in the SEC, and they're not losing a lot, and they're going to do nothing but reload and get more money with this revenue sharing? Like, the task is going to be difficult. And the idea that we're going to try to out-portal those guys, because we have now seen up until this point, unless we get this magical donor out of nowhere, we're still behind in that phase. And so his approach right now, from what it looks like, is going to be more of a take-time approach, but an approach that it seems like he's building this team the right way. All right, so I think he's going to be somebody that we have to give time. Somebody popped that up right now with the schedule. I think this one's a little bit more realistic. I saw somebody put a 5-6. Even a 6-6, I think, would be a major upgrade given our schedule. We even have our non-conference game on the road at Utah, who has 10 wins this year, okay? Oh, Lord. See, there we go. My guy said we're going 12-0. See what I'm doing? I hope it happens. I ain't going to hold my breath, all right? All right, so we're going to go ahead and take a break. That's the best I could do with a short notice of trying to give y'all an idea of what is going on or potentially happening up there at the University of Arkansas. Once again, keep an eye out on who he continues to get. Keep an eye out when the portal opens. We're going to keep an eye out to see how he assembles his staff. So many things that he can do before the season starts that I think would move the needle to kind of give you an idea if this was a good hire. That's what I like about the stuff that we're going to do here. We're going to let you know if we think this is a good hire before we even take a snap on that football field next year. We'll be right back after this break.
All right, Razorback fans, basketball season is in full swing, and it's kind of starting to feel like 1994. The best thing about Be Unlimited, it caters to all eras of Razorback basketball fans, from the slobbering hog with Nolan Richardson to the running hog with Coach Cal. From hats, t-shirts, sweatshirts, they've got it all right here at your #1 stop. Be Unlimited. The road to the Final Four starts here.
I bet they run the ball right here. Well, you former Razorbacks think you're so smart, don't you? What? Well, if you are so smart, why don't you put your money where your mouth is? Wager on the Oakland Sports app. It's the best in-game wagering available in the state. Maybe use that football brain of yours to bet on this next play. Plus your favorite games. It's that easy. Yes! See? You should have took the bet.
Bet on any game all season long with Oakland Sports, Arkansas's best sports betting app.
You might not know us yet, but around here, we're building something different. Southwest Auto Collection in Arkadelphia is more than just a dealership. With a full service department, on-site body shop, and brands you trust, Ford, Chevrolet, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, we're built to take care of you long after the sale. And when you keep up your service with us, we'll cover your tires for life. Honest deals, real service, and value that's worth the drive. Southwest Auto Collection. Your road starts here.
At Ortho Arkansas, relief is closer than you think. Our in-house spine procedure center was designed with one goal in mind: to make your care as easy and comfortable as possible. From pain-relieving injections to advanced spine procedures, everything is done right here, safely, conveniently, and under the care of our fellowship-trained specialists. Since our procedure center is part of Ortho Arkansas, your physician team, imaging, and follow-up care are all connected. saving you time and eliminating unnecessary steps. You'll be in and out the same day, cared for by a team that knows you, right here where you already trust us with your care. Relief, right here at Ortho Arkansas Spine Institute Procedure Center.
Opportunity starts with strong roots. The Land of Opportunity Scholarship Initiative helps Arkansas students grow and thrive. Give today. Arkansas Roots. Bold futures.
All right, everybody, welcome back. We're about to go ahead and put a bow on this thing over here live at the Mainline Sports Bar in Oaklawn. I see some people in the chat room right now. Hold on now. Who is this guy? Can we block people? Is that a thing? Is it that far ago? Give me 1 second. Hold on. I'm going to find them. It came from Twitter. Oh, did he take it down? Got scared, didn't he? Yeah, he got scared. He's talking about my girl. It's all good. Dang, that was quick. Somebody said that my girl was so fine. I was going to take it as a compliment. Thank you. All right. Appreciate Ebony for helping out with our ads. That'll be your last ad, honey. Okay. No, I'm just kidding. We'll still have you on there. All right, we're about to go ahead and get to Zach Gillum, and we're going to let you know what's on the board tonight for Monday Night Football. And I don't know if y'all knew, this is one of the best weekends in sports. So many conference championships going on. I want you to, right now in the chat, I want you right now to let me know who will win the SEC championship, who's going to win the Big 12 championship. Do they have a Big 10 championship? Is that a thing? They'll have that, right? I think they used to not to. Maybe they will. Let me know the conference champs, all right? We're going to see who gets closest, who will be the most accurate, who knows their football. That'll be fun. And I will say this, too. Very stoked and pumped up for Anthony Kennedy because Ebony just reminded me when we went and talked to him at Central and we asked, he's going to Miami, he's doing all of this. And I said, did you even want to go to Arkansas? Because I don't want to just make Arkansas look bad. First of all, I need to know that you wanted to go there first. And he said, man, growing up, man, Arkansas is my dream school. I always wanted to go. I was just like, oh, it hurt my soul that they didn't recruit that man hard enough. Now he's going to be a Razorback. That's pretty cool right there. All right, before we get cranked up, I got to give a shout-out to one of our sponsors, Southwest Auto, making sure they take care of people, okay? So once again, I know a lot of people find themselves in a bad spot where the car starts acting up on you and you are just trying to wait to that next paycheck. Like, I can't do this right now. I can't afford another car. If this happened a few months from now, I'd be fine. Well, they got a drive now, pay later deal going on. No payments for 90 days, 3 months for you to get all your stuff in order. We know Christmas is coming up and you don't have, you need to knock out Christmas first and then you could probably get that vehicle that you need. Well, this is the way to do it if you need that vehicle now, okay? So my friends at Southwest Auto trying to take care of you. And let's go ahead and get ready to bring in my guy, Zach Gillum, who is waiting backstage. But, Zach, I got a nice little surprise for you. Zach Gillum from Oaklawn.
Hey.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah, you like that? I did that.
Yeah.
Actually, guy in the chair made that, and I'll put the audio track down, okay? But do you like
nice.
it? Will that work?
That was good. I like it.
Okay, it was good, yeah. I probably could have made it a little longer, gave it a little bit more feel, but I've been watching Landman. That gave me some Landman vibes. You know what I mean? All right.
I watched the new episode last night. I'm with you.
So good, right?
Yeah, it was.
So good. Love that show. All right, Zach, I was talking about conference winners, and I got people in the chat right now thinking who's going to win. All these conference championships. You got the Big 12 with BYU. You got Alabama, Ohio State over there, the Big 10. Somebody said sad to say. So y'all keep on letting us know who you think will be the conference championship winners. But before all that, it's Monday Night Football, okay? A little Monday Night Football. I see them warming up behind us. They are 21 minutes away from kickoff with the Giants and the Patriots. Let's go ahead and take a look at what is on the board, and let's go ahead and start with the team props. What do we got, Zach? Or the overall game props. What do we got?
Yeah, so looking at the major three markets, money line spread in total, what you have up on the board is still accurate. So you have the spread at -7. That is Patriots, your favored by a touchdown. This is in New England. Total at 46.5, and then the money line, you can see that -375 for the Patriots, +290 for the Giants.
All right, let's go ahead and get it moving. Let's take a look at the game props, and let's roll through a few of these. You want to walk us through it, Zach?
Yeah, if you guys have not listened in each week, I'm surprised you got to start watching. But what we're looking at here is team total TDs. So 2.5 for the Giants, 3.5 for the Patriots. Those are very common numbers, usually, especially when it's around a touchdown difference. You're going to see one team expected to score an additional touchdown. So what you're looking for is 3 touchdowns for the Giants, 4 for the Patriots if you're taking the over. Keep in mind, unders are options as well. Um, team total points, excuse me, that's looking at each individual team, how many points they score in the matchup. So you don't necessarily care if they win, just how many points are they going to score. 19.5 for the Giants, 27.5 for the Patriots. Again, this is a market that you can bet over or under what that point total is. And then we're looking at total successful field goals, 3.5 over plus 105. What that means is for every $100 you bet, you would profit 105. And this is looking at field goals combined for each team. This isn't going to include PATs, just field goals kicked.
Before we move on to the player props, I need my chat to help this guy out. Says, I haven't seen one episode of Landman. What am I missing? You're missing a lot, okay? Really good show. Very entertaining. Makes me feel like
I would say if you're a fan of Taylor Sheridan's work or Billy Bob Thornton, it's either one of those probably going to get you interested.
All right, fair enough. Let's keep this going right here. Let's go and take a look at my favorite part, player props in the NFL matchup here tonight. Walk us through it.
Yeah, so we're looking at a couple different options here, passing, receiving, rushing, looking at the latter option. So you're going to see some standard numbers for each of these players, but you can also look at different thresholds, and the odds will vary for each player. So on the passing, we're looking at Jackson Dart, Drake May. You can see at 225 plus, Jackson's at plus 175, Drake's at minus 205. What that tells you is it's at least according to the odds makers, more likely that Drake has more passing yards tonight. But you do have options that go down as low as, say, 175 up to 300. Odds will vary on all of that. On the receiving option, you have 60 plus. We're looking at Robinson and Diggs. Again, you see those odds vary based on what the expectations for each of these players are. For rushing, we're looking at 60 plus for Tracy Jr. and Henderson. And again, you can see the varying in those odds. So Henderson expected to have quite a few more yards than Tracy if you go look at their main number.
All right, let's go ahead and talk about big weekend in college football. I'm going to pull up some of these from the chat right now. I asked who the winners would be. We got Georgia for SEC. We got Big Ten, Ohio State. I think they're playing Indiana, right?
Correct.
Texas Tech and BYU playing in the Big 12. Why am I looking at this right now? They're playing in the AAC, right? Or ACC championship. Duke.
Looking for Duke, yeah, they're playing Virginia, and they're not as big of a dog as you might expect, being
How'd
unranked.
that happen? Wait, if they win, will they be in the playoffs? Is that a thing?
I think they have for the Power Four. I think it's an automatic if you win your conference. Now, keep in mind that doesn't guarantee. I don't think that guarantees you any specific seeding, so they could still be seeded fairly high. But yeah, looking at those ones, Texas Tech a very heavy favorite against BYU, 13.5 points currently is a line. Looking at the Georgia game. This is the SEC championship. Georgia and Alabama. Georgia a 3-point favorite, so they are a slight favorite in this matchup. Ohio State and Indiana. This is closer than I might have thought as we were going throughout the season. Ohio State minus 4.5 currently. Don't expect that to get either below a field goal or above a touchdown, so it's probably going to stay right in that window. And then Duke, Virginia. Duke, like I said, a slight dog. Virginia minus 3.5 in that one. But all of the conference matchups are on the board. So if you're looking for, say, Kennesaw State and Jacksonville, they're your Friday night first matchup of this. Kennesaw State right now -2.
Okay, I like it. If you want to get in on this action, Zach, you know what to tell them, man. Download that app, not now, but right now. How can they do it?
Absolutely. So check us out in the Apple App Store, the Google Play Store. Oaklawn Sports is what you're looking for. And then for desktop users, oaklawnsports.com. That's simple. New users up to $1,000 in bonus bets. Easy to join in on the fun. All you have to do is register, make your first deposit. You're automatically enrolled in that offer. No promo code is needed there. So just have fun with it. Minimum bet is $1.
Minimum bet $1. Always having fun. Ebony's over here cooking up her parlay tonight. She's a little Monday Night Football parlay queen. So she'll be pumped up in it. Zach, before I let you go, basketball. Yeah, anything we need to kind of get out ahead of?
Yeah, right now the Arkansas game is not quite on the board, but I expect that to hit tomorrow. But there are 2 pretty key matchups that everyone are going to be looking at. Duke and Florida face off tomorrow. Right now, Duke an 8.5-point favorite in that. Wow. And then Kentucky, North Carolina. Kentucky a 7.5-point favorite in that. Those are both Tuesday night. Check for the Arkansas game. Should be posted around noon on Tuesday.
I think Arkansas fans should pay attention to those games because, if we want what we want this year, we're going to have to play teams like that. We're going to see where we stack up against them. Zach, I appreciate you, man. I didn't get to – yes, did I get to talk to you about your Thanksgiving? You have a good Thanksgiving? We talked Saturday,
I did. Had a great
Okay.
Thanksgiving.
Good.
I got to come up to Oaklawn and help with the event center event. We did that from about 11 to 2.
Nice.
It was phenomenal. If you didn't see pictures, over 1,000. It was, I think, around almost 1,300 people that were served in a 3-hour span. So hats off to our food and beverage, our sales team, everyone over there that chipped in, and it looked like everybody had a great time. They were enjoying the food. So it really is a fun thing. $6.99. Can't really beat that for a full plate of Thanksgiving goodies. So it was a lot of fun, and then went and spent some time with family as well. So it was a really good day.
And I almost forgot. I won my preseason bet. Travis Kelce came through. What do you have, 5 touchdowns? I needed 5 touchdowns for the year. Preseason, 4.5 on the board for the year. Felt good about it, went with it. And that makes me think about this. How soon would we be able to see early projections for next year's Razorback team?
That's fun. So thinking about like future odds for championship next year, that is likely going to be really close to when we get to the championship game this year. So look for it in January. Those odds will post, and if I had to guess, they'll be very, very high odds. So
what do you think
no,
about,
and that's no shade. That's just how it works. New coach had a rough year.
Usually, how long does it take before the over/under comes out for the wins?
So that's usually going to be later. That's going to be in the summer. Typically, July is when we start to see that post. Maybe early August, but typically we try to push for that. If not middle July, late July for sure.
You've been doing this a long time, Zach. If you were a betting man and you were to wager on it, what do you think that number might be set at?
It's a lot's going to depend on the offseason, what happens, but just based on prior years, the years we've been doing this, almost every year, I feel like it's been falling between 4.5 and 6.5. So, if we have a really rough offseason, I'm going to expect it to be near that lower number. If we have a great offseason, who knows? Maybe optimism gets it to that 5.5, 6.5, and we can exceed expectations.
What was it at the beginning of this year? And everyone said, surely we get that, right?
It was 4.5 for the regular season, 2.5 for the conference.
Oh my gosh, that's awful. I think most people would have felt comfortable with that. All right.
Well, and most years, they have exceeded what that win total has been. I've been over here yelling like, please raise the win total. I'm in Arkansas, but it is what it is. This year was just a rough one, and hopefully we can rebuild. We know who the coach is, so we can stop talking about that and get forward to next year and cheer on those Hogs.
That's fun. Zach, I appreciate you, man. Have a good one.
Absolutely. Have a great night.
All right, that's Zach Gillum over there with Oaklawn Sports. We're about to wrap this up. I got some comments in here that I wanted to pull up. This is interesting. I was thinking about this as well, to these recruits that are coming in. DJ, these kids are committing to the Razorbacks without knowing who their position coaches are going to be. This has been in the works for a while. That is funny. I think position coaches are huge, and that's who you build your relationships with. You kind of see what they bring to the table, how they can elevate your game. And so I'd be very curious to see what those conversations are like between these kids. Let me see if I can make a phone call and see how all this is going down. But I like it. I think we're moving in the right direction. All right, y'all, we're about to go ahead and wrap this thing up. Always appreciate y'all hanging out with us, and we're going to try our best to kind of keep up this pace of trying to dig a little bit more into Ryan Silverfield and what he could bring to the University of Arkansas when it comes to the schematic approach, what we can see on the football field. We're also going to make sure that we give you an update each time we hear about a new hire, a new player. We got some eyes on some guys. Signing day in 2 days. Expect a lot to change for a lot of guys here in the state of Arkansas. Appreciate y'all watching 4th and 5. Once again, always having a great time here in Oaklawn at the Mainline Sports Bar. Y'all have a good one.